the Speedway Show on BIKERfm.
So, welcome back to the Speedway Show on BIKERfm. I am tweeting it as we speak because our next live guest is with us, which is Jason Doyle. Jason, welcome to the show, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good to have you with us tonight, mate. Representing the Birmingham Brummies this year for 2013 in the Elite League, and also Somerset in the Premier League. Who you were with last season?
Yeah, can't wait. After last year, we've ridden with Swindon and Somerset. Everything went well, and hopefully this year will be the same.
And the end of the season for Swindon last year was something quite special, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It meant a lot to all the older blokes at Swindon. For us boys, what rode for them, it was an honour to do what we did for Swindon, and everyone was over the moon at the end of the season.
Indeed. Well, I went along to the, I know I spoke to you yesterday, I went along to the Birmingham Meet the Rider night last night, which was with Danny King and Chris Harris, and Graham Drury, your co-team manager at Birmingham, was running through the team, and he was saying the reasons that he signed you is because he said you were a very exciting rider and you never knew when you were beaten. You would race and race and race. Do you think that's a pretty good summary of yourself? Yeah,
I'm pretty good at crashing. I think that pretty sums up for what I've done over the last couple of years of injuries. But hopefully I can do the same as what I've done for the last clubs I've rode for, and just give 110%.
Are you fighting fit coming into this season? You've not got any sort of old injuries that haven't quite cleared up? Are you perfectly clear for 2013?
Yeah, actually, this is the first year I've come back to England without having a shoulder operation. Last year I broke my neck. But after I rode the Australian titles, I had no recurring pain or anything. So I'm ready for it. I'm just getting all the bikes ready and going testing on the weekend.
Where are you testing, mate?
We're off to Italy. Me and Corey Gaffercole and a few others are going over there. I think we just have to go over there because it's more track time for us, and we can get our bikes sorted ready for the first meeting.
And you made the very difficult decision during the winter of whether to stay in the UK like all us poor Brits or toddling back to Australia. And surprisingly, you chose to go back to Australia. How was the weather for you, and how did it treat you over there during the winter? Because it's summertime there, isn't it?
Yeah, I've done that for my whole career. I don't think I'm manly enough to stay over here for a winter. I think it's too cold for me. I've come back for this year in the start of February, and I couldn't handle it. I think I've spent most of the time inside, but next couple of weeks is going to be exciting for me. Hopefully I need to get outside and get used to the weather.
What did your winter consist of? Did you chill a lot, or did you get much racing in?
Yeah, well, the first 6 weeks I still had my neck brace on, but after that I went travelling with my girlfriend, and then pretty much just rested and went for the Australian titles, and had a couple of good rounds and had one duff one, but that's Speedway, and I'm just ready for the season now. I think everyone has to ride. Well, it's good to be back in Australia riding, but everyone's all the Aussies like coming back to England nice and early, get the season started.
One of the things that they hit on last night at the Birmingham Meet the Riders night was in relation to track preparation and stuff. How have you found the Birmingham track when you've been there on your visits in the last couple of seasons?
I went there once with Poole, and then last year in the playoffs with him, but both times it's a racing track. I think it's got a lot of dirt, so we can ride the fence, and you can either ride on the pole line or do the big ones around the outside. So it's a proper racing track. Which it's going to suit Birmingham team with Bomber and Barker.
And kind of outnumbered by Brits, because obviously I think Paul had a stat earlier on, and did you say there was the biggest percentage of Brits in the team at Birmingham, Paul? Was it something you mentioned?
Yeah, Phil Morris tweeted actually.
Did he?
Let me find it. It is Birmingham Brummies have 26.66% of all the Brits in the Elite League.
Right, so just over a quarter of the riders who are British who could be in the Elite League, Birmingham have got them.
Yeah.
So is that a daunting thought for you, mate, for Jason, or is it just doesn't bother you what nationalities your teammates are?
Nah, it'll be fun, I guess. Having rode with so many Brits, I think most of the time I'm riding with 4 or 5 Aussies in the team, but us Aussies like a whinge, and I heard the Brits do too.
Yeah, well, we've had a message coming for you from Mike Woodyat, and he says, "Welcome to the Brummies. Australians with the name Jason have a big, big reputation at Birmingham, and all the very best for the 2013 season." So he's obviously referring there to Jason Lyons, who was very much taken to the hearts of the fans at Birmingham. So good to have a message there from the fans at Brum. Looking forward to seeing you, mate.
Yeah, that's it. I think go there and just give 110%, like Lyonsy and all the other Aussies rode there, Jono and Sergi rode there a few years ago when it was in Premier League. So yeah, hopefully I can do a good job for them.
Mm-hmm. We've also had another message, and this is from Zoe. She says, "Jason, it's good to have you with the Brummies. Hope you will help boost the team so we can possibly win the league this year." Something that you're, as you mentioned at the start there, something that you're accustomed to. It'd be nice to do it 2 years on the trot.
Yeah, hopefully this can be my third year in a row. But this year I want to ride the final. The last 2 years I've been injury in the last couple of weeks of the season. So if I can just hang on a little bit longer for the season and finish the season on a high.
Now this is possibly a little bit more cryptic, this message that we've had, and it's from somebody called Sid, and he says, "Can you ask Jason if he still talks to the lady bouncer from Walkabout in Cardiff?" Does that mean anything to you?
Oh, that means a lot to a few of me mates of Cardiff. You let your hair down a little bit. I haven't seen her lately, and last year I behaved myself for once. So
I think it was being refurbished or something last year. Walkabout, wasn't it? I don't think it was open last year.
Thank God. It saved me a lot of money and a headache.
And kept you out of trouble. Yeah.
Would you get your bum bounced by a lady bouncer, mate?
No, didn't get belted up. She gave me a headlock that I'll never forget.
I thought he might have got a bit of a clip around the ear hole.
No, it was all in good spirit.
Oh, good stuff.
Okay, so in relation to your build up for this season, mate, you mentioned that you're sort of going off to Italy to do some testing with the guys and stuff. We're only sort of 2 or 3 weeks away from press and practice. Anything else you've sort of got scheduled at the minute?
No, not really. I think it's probably a week and a half until my first meeting at Swindon for the Bob Kilby. So looking to be back on a bike or on the weekend and just get everything ready. This time I'm a little bit more prepared for the season. And, hopefully I can have a good one.
Yeah, we just had a question come in from Glasgow Tiger, and they basically ask you what you think of Glasgow's 2 new Aussies, Joey Ringwood and Harley Horwood.
I'm not really sure about Harley. I haven't really met him, but Joey lives in New South Wales, in Sydney. So I've had a bit to do with Joey, and he's a good kid, and he's 100. He does the same as most Aussies. Come over and he'll give his all.
Yeah, and is there plenty of riders over in Australia where you're from, sort of looking to come back over here?
Yeah, there's Taylor Poole and Justin Sedgman, what are both haven't got team rides this year, what are still good little riders what are going to come up. But then there's all Brady Kurtz and Max, he just signed for Edinburgh. But we've got all these young kids, but we all have to watch our backs. All the older boys, I think it's good times for Australian Speedway, and we're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, and obviously the World Championship won by Chris Holder certainly hasn't hurt that.
Yeah, that's it. Having Chris and Darcy, I think there's a lot more young kids in Brisbane hoping to do what Darcy Ward's done, and same with Chris. It's good to have Chris as the young Australian and the world champion, what everyone can look up to, and that he's a great role model for all the young kids.
And have you found, sort of going back home, that with the Grand Prix and the Elite League on Sky, that more people know about Speedway now?
Yeah, I guess so. It's not really publicised so much in Australia. It's one of the sports what most people don't even know about unless you're being brought up with it. But hopefully, with Chris being the world champion, and we've got Speed Channel, that they'll pick up the population of Speedway in Australia, and everyone gets to see what all us boys are doing in Europe.
Yeah, and it's one of your teammates, Carl Newman, I was having a chat with him the other day, and we were sort of talking about different riders and in the pits and sort of stuff like that. And he sort of told me about when you come in from a race, he can just tell whether you've had a good one or a bad one. So he says you've sort of got one of those faces that he knows, right, I'm not speaking to him.
Yeah, that's it. And he's two pit bays down from me, so the poor Tom Perry and whoever's next to me, they're going to cop it this year. But no, not really. I think I've settled down with my old age, and just it's not like I get angry all the time. It's just I want to do well for the team and myself, and I just try my best. So if I have a bad one, it's more it's more putting pressure on myself and getting angry at myself, not anyone else. And I think everyone's got to know that, so they stay out of my way. I
think Carl's put it in his contract, actually. I think that was one of the stipulations. He said that he needs to be as far away from you in the pits as possible. Yeah, and I've put in my contract, hopefully Kyle can keep his right foot on the footrest coming around the corner to keep himself safe for the 2013 season. Yeah, it's all good. We've got a good team, and I can't wait to ride for Somerset with all the young kids again. Yeah, and I'm reading about Steve Bish that's sort of standing down. That's a bit of a blow because he is a club legend and a pretty chilled out sort of influence in the pits. Yeah, with Bish, I've known him since I first come to England, and I think he's Somerset Speedway through and through. He's helped out the club from day one, and Debbie and the Hancock family, they've always kind of listened to all his advice, and he's done well for the Somerset, and they wouldn't be where they are without him. What he's done over the last 10 years. Yeah, knowing Steve, I don't think he'd be far away though. No, I think hopefully he can still pop his head over to watch every Friday night. It's just I heard that it's with his work, he can't really get so much time off this year, and with his family. So hopefully he can come up and watch Somerset win the league for the first time. Yeah, and obviously, coming from two Elite League teams that have won the championships, Swindon and Paul, obviously two close friends but very big rivals, Roscoe and Neil Middleditch. How do you find their sort of tactics, the way they speak to the riders? What do you think makes those successful team managers? I just think all the riders listen to both of them. They've both got their own ways, but they've both been there and done that, and it's just good to have team managers what you can at least go up to, and they know when you've had a bad one, they can say the right things. With other promoters, when what haven't rode, they just come up to you and seem to say the wrong things at the wrong time. But I've been lucky enough to have two good team managers to ride for. And how are they different? Not sure if I can say it on air. I think Roscoe's a team man. He does all the basketball stuff before the meet, where you hold hands and throw it in the air, and Middle-O just yells at you and gives you a bit of a kick up the arse and goes for it. Right, okay, so Roscoe's all like the American stuff, is he? No, I don't know, mate. He's spot on. I've never had no troubles with Roscoe riding for him, and I've always wanted to. So when I had the opportunity to ride for him at Coventry, I didn't end up riding when Darcy got injured, but me and Roscoe have got along from when I first come to England, and last year was the first time I raced for him, and he's top bloke, so he's done well for me, and he looked after me all last year. Cool. We've got some more questions coming from Twitter. So we've got one from Colin Said, and he said, "May I ask Jason, are the tracks in Oz in a worrying decline?" Sorry, mate. Is there they're all? I think with the tracks, does he mean if they're dropping off or? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's more tracks getting built. I think where I live is Newcastle, so we've just got Curry, which is one of the best tracks in the country with Gilman. So I think we're lucky to have to practice there on a Wednesday night, and I'm not sure if there's any other tracks getting built, but it doesn't seem like they're dropping off. I think the last track what dropped off was the Motordrome, and then Gosford, but I think Gosford's coming back for us, and it's getting stronger for us in Australia. That's why we've got all these young kids coming through. Yeah, and I suppose, now that New Zealand have opened the door again for a Grand Prix, down your neck of the woods, there's got to be hope for an Australian one again.
Yeah, I hope so. Having New Zealand as one of the rounds in the world titles, I think they need to have a look at Australia. It's not so far from New Zealand, and I think it's a lot better country.
Yeah, that's cool. I just got another question coming as well for you. I'll keep hitting them over to you. So we've got Michael Harris has said, are you aware of the big Aussie tradition at Birmingham? So you've got Graham Warren, Phil Hearn and Jason Lyons to name but a few.
Not so much. I didn't know Phil rode. My dad told me that Phil rode, but I'm not sure when he did that. But yeah, I know there's a few Aussies that have rode for Birmingham. Yeah, and I just want to do the same, and hopefully I can have a good year and be known as the one what's at least up there with like winning the league or something what they'll remember me by.
So on an individual front, obviously, very successful as a team rider, but individually, have you got ambitions to get in the Grand Prix qualifiers and sort of progress that way?
Yeah, I think any Speedway rider, if they don't have ambitions in the sport, then they might as well give up. I'm not getting any younger, so it means I just need to push on a little bit more. But last year just showed that not having an injury just made me a little bit better. I started off every year good, but just seemed to get injured. So if I can stay on a bike and be 100% fit for the end of the season and do a few seasons without getting an injury, then hopefully I can just keep going a little bit, get a bit further in my career. And yeah, never know. I just want to see how it goes really, and hopefully this year will be another step above last year.
Okay, mate. So in relation to your sort of aim, sort of average-wise and stuff, have you sort of got any sort of figures in mind, target-wise, for what you're looking to achieve in both your leagues this season? I know Graham mentioned last night he was thinking that you could put a point or almost 2 points on your average even. Do you think he's a bit optimistic there, or are you thinking on those lines as well if you have an injury-free season?
Yeah, I hope so. That means more money in the bank. But really, I just want to take every meeting as it comes and do my best, really. And yeah, if I can put a point on the average in the Elite League and do one more in Premier League, that'll mean that I've had a good season, and yeah, just see how it goes. But yeah, if I can just do every meeting how I did last year, then yeah, I'll be happy.
We're going to hit you now with some kind of obscure questions, because we like to sometimes, when we've got people on, hit them with some wacky ones. So give us a number between 1 and 20, mate.
13.
13, unlucky for some. Not that difficult.
Yeah.
What's your favourite film? So of all the films that you've seen in the past, what would you class as your favourite film? Is the one that you always... I'm thinking you're probably thinking of a smoochy one.
Nah, definitely not.
Oh, come on, he's Australian.
P.S. I Love You or something like that. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, you never know. It might float your boat.
Nah. Not into that. Probably Green Mile.
Okay. Rightio. Okay, give us another number then between 1 and 20.
7.
Okay. If you could wave a magic wand and improve a part of the way that you race, what would it be? So is there a particular trait you've got that you think, oh, if only I was just better at that?
Well, he did say, probably
staying
not
on.
crashing so much.
Yeah, staying on would be probably
keeping contact.
Be the main thing.
Keeping his bum in the seat.
Better super glue for my seat.
Right. Okay. And then one last one, another number, mate.
1.
Number 1. Well, that's right up at the top.
Do they start numbers?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Who has been your biggest influence in the sport?
Oh, probably all like Crumpy, all the older guys what we looked up to watching and wanting to be where they are really. Like probably Jason and Lee.
Right. Okay.
Chris, do you know what I imagine you at the moment? You know them things that you have when you're a kid and you put your fingers in and you say like...
I like the snapper things, like, and you peel something back.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking you're doing at the moment.
Well, I'm not doing that kind of thing, honestly.
Okay, all right. That's cool.
Honestly.
Jason, I have to ask you, the number thing there, was that start numbers?
No, I was just picking random numbers. Hopefully, they were good answers.
Okay, because all those start numbers, they're the ones that when my son Jason is racing a meeting, an open meeting, and we get the start regulations and we get the start number, John goes, oh, yeah, that's 2 reds and 2 outsides or 2 insides. And I always think, how do you remember all that stuff? Because John has his, like, favourite start numbers. And sometimes when I have to go up with Jason after the meeting and they have to draw a start number, he always goes, what start number did you get? And I tell him the number and he goes, why'd you say that one? I said, well, it was random. You know, I didn't actually get a choice. I just had to choose.
If you can give me your numbers, what gives me inside gates all the time in Australia, I'll be happy because every time I do an Australian title, I seem to get two threes or 2 fours.
Gates, yeah. But, you know, it differs, though, because some tracks, the 2 outside gates is good ones, but it depends on whether they're at the beginning of the meeting or at the end of the meeting. So there's a lot of mathematics involved in it. I don't understand it.
Man, I stay out of it and just ride.
So listen, I just want to... I didn't know that you were a little bit sort of... had a temper issue in the pits.
Camper.
Well, no, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that entirely in a good way. And I liked your comment where you said, like, when you were having, like, coming after a heat, that it's totally directed at yourself, isn't it? It's not directed at other people or the other guys in the heat or anything like that. Your whole frustration issue is, like, with yourself. Yeah,
it's not. I've never personally got angry at anyone unless they've been dangerous riding towards me. But yeah, it's mainly if I have a bad ride. It's just more to do with how I feel with myself, of if I should have done something right or
exactly. And do you know what I think that when outside people see stuff like that, it's quite often misinterpreted. The other guys in the pits know what's going on and what's happening and stuff like that, but when they actually show things like that on Sky or something like that, it's quite often really, really misinterpreted because people think that you're chucking a temper tantrum because you think something bad happened or something like that, but it is actually just your own frustrations, isn't it? It's like thinking, oh, I really messed up there, or I should have done this, or I should have done that.
Yeah, I think it's the adrenaline pumping through you as well. You just need to... If I could do an extra lap, a calming down lap, I'd be happy. So maybe they can bring that into 2014, a cooling down lap for me. I think Debbie at Somerset would understand. She might need to give me 2 laps there sometime.
Okay, it's because I always think of that with, like, a lot of the different riders where people assume that they're aggressive in the pits and stuff like that, when it's really not. It's just totally invent. It's like towards themselves. Yep. And the whole thing with different riders that react differently in the pits, and I often think it's quite amusing because in this day and age with so much media coverage, it's so much more misrepresented than it used to be, because back in the day, the guys in the pits, they didn't walk around with a camera shoved behind them.
Yeah, I think when the camera's in your face is when you've had either a crash or something's gone wrong.
Exactly, and I always think that too on Sky, when they always apologise because someone has sworn on the telephone to the referee. I always think, well, what did you think they were going to say?
Yeah, exactly. You've just lost money, haven't you, when you're getting excluded? So
exactly, and I always laugh a bit, and I'm telling tales out of school here because John, my husband, always had this reputation of being the Mr. Quiet man, the man that never made a fuss or anything like that. And he actually rode in the same team as Nicky Pedersen at Holsted in Denmark for very many years, and they were beside each other in the pits. And Nicky used to laugh at John chucking tantrums.
Yep.
So
I think different riders can act differently. I think you see Chris Holder in the pits and he's so calm and relaxed. But yeah, other riders, then you got Nicky and the rest of the ones that are angry, they just show it in different ways. So yeah, all riders are different, and yeah, how they cope is if you got a camera stuck in your face, it doesn't work out sometimes. And
okay, if you haven't got the passion, then you wouldn't be there anyway, would you?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's passion. If you come in and sat down on your chair after running a Alaska for 4 races, I think people would start like even questioning that, wouldn't they? So if you're not showing any emotion, so if it's a lose-lose situation with people, how they judge you.
Exactly. Well, listen, Jason, it's been really great having you on the show tonight, mate. Have a really great season. Good luck with your teams at Somerset and Birmingham. Hope it goes really good for you. And hope you keep the flag flying for the Jasons at Birmingham.
Yep, definitely. Thank you very much, and probably speak to you over the season.
We hope so.
Yep, thank you.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Bye.